we're all in business for ourselves. We're business owners, okay? So thank you for American Amicable for putting this on for us today. Thank you for Lee Mowry, who is just an awesome guy, for coming to the thing last night. That's really cool, I gotta tell you.
Oh, love it.
And some great conversation. So thank you, Rob Boyd, Retirement Income Life, and of course, Pell Financial Group. So let's get started with Spring Training 2022. Let's get into shape, okay? So the first thing we gotta do, we gotta get our toolbox together. We gotta figure out what's gonna be in our toolbox. Well, let's just check it out. What kind of tools would you think that we're gonna need to be successful? Well, we're gonna need the FEX Toolkit. That should be the #1 thing in your toolbox, okay? Next thing you're gonna need is access to our Google Drive.
We pay for that.
Everyone in Retirement Income Life has access to this Google Drive. I put it together over the last 5-6 years. It is instrumental. If you don't have it, just send me a text and I'll get it for you. Next is your route planner. Without a route planner, you're not going to be efficient. And when you have your own business, what is time?
Money.
Boom, right? Matter of fact, hang on a second, I forgot to take something out for you guys. I forgot. I don't want to shortchange anybody here. Because
That's what we
Kevin just earned himself a $10 Starbucks gift card.
Yes.
All right.
About 1 cup of Coke.
Because he participated. You participate, you get rewards. That's how it works. Okay? So we need a route planner. Next thing is we need an e-fax. Yes, it's antiquated, right? E-fax, you still have to fax stuff though. Even to American Amicable, you may have to fax something to them. So get a tiny scanner, tiny fax, something. Okay? Let's move on. Let's go over the FEX Toolkit, because just because you have it, and it seems pretty simple, doesn't mean you know how to use it right. So I just want to point out a couple of quick things. If everybody can see that big old red arrow there. So we're working on Joe Bob here, I guess. He wants $10,000 in coverage. He's 5'8", 185. This dude has no nephropathy. He's in rough shape, Joe Bob, right? And he wants level coverage. Well, forget this screen, and I'll tell you why. Family Benefit does not take nephropathy. Matter of fact, you're not getting day 1 coverage typically with nephropathy, okay? That means your liver's in pretty bad shape. But let's move on to the next thing. Limited pay. See, the coverage type is now limited pay. Let's say you have Joe Bob and he's healthy. He's got no health issues. Now you're looking at 20 pay policies, 10 pay policies, even paid at 85, paid up at 85. So does everybody understand what the 10 pay means? 10 pay means you pay for 10 years, you're done paying. You own the policy. You finish your payments on your car, you own your car. It's the same thing with the insurance policy.
Hey, Rob, one of
Yes.
my former bosses, to interrupt you, but used to say, the 10-pay policy is because some people don't want to pay for their whole life,
That's a great point.
That's a good one.
And it saves them a lot of money, that's for sure, okay? Now, let me go back to this real quick. Let's talk about who might be interested in 20 pay policy or 10 pay, whatever it might be. Let's say you have a client, they have $10,000 for $50 a month, right? Well, the 20 pay policy might only be $15 more a month. And when you show them how the math works out, where the amount of money they're going to save over the lifetime of that policy, it's going to be astronomical. So they're going to pay far less over the long run. So do you think they might want to come out with an extra $3.67 a week for a 20 pay policy than keep the one that they got? So right now you're finding business where you might have let it go in the past, okay? So keep that in mind when you go into a house. If you have somebody pretty healthy and you look at their policy and you're like, whoa, they've only had this for a year or two, and you know what? They are pretty healthy. Let me just take a quick look at 20 pay, because 20 pay is an upgrade from paying for the rest of your life. It's a big upgrade, okay? So next tool is Google Drive. How many people have looked at our Google Drive? Most of us, okay. So if you don't have it, let me know and I'll get it for you. So when you sign out to Google Drive, you're gonna go to, when you first get it, you're gonna go to Share Folder or Share With Me, and then you're gonna go to Team Files with a big old red arrow. Right? And the reason I put red arrows next to carrier info and existing coverage is because they get overlooked too often. How many of you have looked in carrier information? Okay, boom, smart man. Carrier information has a cheat sheet in there. Now, it doesn't have every carrier on that cheat sheet, but if you need a quick answer, and maybe you don't have, great internet or something, or your FEX toolkit's not working, just look at the cheat sheet that I put into, I think there might even be 2 cheat sheets, as a matter of fact, in that carrier info file, okay? Existing insurance, you have a client that's thinking about Colonial Penn on TV, their price sheet is in there, okay? I have the old AARP price sheet, some of their policy information. I have all that stuff in there. So please, when you get Google Drive, just go in there and at least check it out, see what's in there. Find out what you have in your holster, right? You won't be able to use the tools that you have if you don't know what you have. Look through the toolbox. 2 others are lead forms and scripts. Don't have to tell you a whole lot about that, but that does get overlooked by most people. And then Notebook. Notebook is stuff that you can put in your binder. Just take a look through it and see what might be there that you might like. There might be something you might, oh man, this is pretty cool. I like this. Let me add this to my repertoire. So route planning apps. Let's see. Well, we got Road Warrior. Now I use Road Warrior. I have tried using Route For Me. So when Road Warrior's price went up a year and a half ago, I guess it was, I rebelled. I didn't want to pay the $10.99. I only wanted to pay the $5 and change, right? I was not happy about it. So I went to Route For Me. It was free. And it was actually a really good route planning app. But because I'm such a creature of habit, I went back to what I was comfortable with, what I was used to working with, and what was efficient for me, and I decided to pay the Road Warrior, and I still have it to this day. Google Maps, people use Google Maps. It is effective. You can actually, and you might be able to do this with the other apps too, but you can color the pins for sold clients, not sold clients, and people that are I don't want to use the word dead, but not unsellable. Okay. So Google Maps, and then of course Waze, and I think we were talking about Waze this morning. I tried Waze one time, and I didn't like it. For 3 seconds, I said, nah, I'm done with this, and I went right to Road Warrior. So some people love Waze. I don't really know a whole lot about it in my older years now, I can admit that. So please, if you don't have a route planning app, get one. Now let's go to eFax. I use Nextiva Fax. They're a professional company. They do a lot of giant corporations. Super reliable, very reliable, and great customer service. Then you have Hello Fax. Haven't used them, but they are ranked as one of the better fax systems out there for an eFax. MetroFax, we have a lot of people in our retirement income life realm that uses MetroFax. Okay, it converts your fax to an email, from what I understand. And then RingCentral. Yep, RingCentral has an eFax system. They are ranked pretty well, so that's why I put them on this list. Do you need me to go back on that? Okay. So this is stuff that I showed, and you guys probably remember that, Kevin and Skylar, you probably remember this from the last training. I had some of that on there. I mixed it up on everybody though. And I added some great stuff, but you gotta wait to the end to get to it. Okay? You guys aren't gonna see it now. And my beautiful wife is gonna come up here, and she's gonna be doing some stuff here too. Not what you're thinking, Kevin.
He the closer.
So, she's the big cheese.
Yeah.
So let's talk about selling mentality. So the top 3 I'm gonna go into more detail on, but I do want to touch base on everything we're gonna come up. So mindset, when you're with a client, you're selling yourself. If you can't sell yourself, you're not gonna sell an insurance policy. They have to like you, they have to trust you, they have to believe in you. You have to be the professional. There are 3 closes at every house, which I'll go into detail in a minute, because many of you are probably like, what the heck? But some people, Taiwan, right? I told you about 3 closed every house. Jan knows about it, of course. Sell on value, not on price. Who here has bought a new car in their lifetime? Okay, most of us, right? Have you just gone to the dealership and took the cheapest car? Or did you want maybe to pay a little more and get the car you wanted, right? So why would we expect to go into a house and sell a client a policy with no riders, just strip down, don't even give them the option, and walk out of the house? Just it doesn't make sense, right? What's going to happen is somebody's going to come in that house and replace that policy with one that's got some goodies. People like goodies, okay? Especially when it involves their family. Dress. At least one step over the client. Don't show up to the client's house looking worse than them or as good as them. So, and I don't mean to be disrespectful, but our clients, when I walk into a house with our typical client in North Carolina, I don't know how Florida is, or Texas, or wherever, but our clients are pretty rough shape, right, Skylar?
Yes, sir.
Some are pretty rough. So you better be at least one level of that, right?
Like go with clothes on.
Yeah. Yeah, show up with a shirt on. That's one step up. Watch your language. And it's not just the cursing or cussing. I'm down here in the South, I have to say it both ways. But some of the things that you say can talk yourself out of a sale. A lot of newer agents and salespeople in general, regardless of the industry you're in, you get this excitement that you just close the deal, and then you go on to talk, and your mouth talks you out of the sale. And then they say, well, you know what? I'm going to get my son. Let me get my son to talk to my son about this. And you're like, oh. And then when you leave, you say, well, I'll never say that again. But if I can help you prevent from making that terrible mistake, let's stop making that mistake. So watch your language, watch what you're saying. Enthusiasm. Okay, Joe, I walk to a door. I knock on the door, you answer, and I, hey Joe, how you doing? My name's Rob. I'm here to sell you life insurance. Can I come in? Oh, good. Exactly, right? Right? Or she got approved for the policy, right? So Joe Tisler got approved for this policy. All right, Joe, you're approved. Anything else? Right? Enthusiasm, man. You have to make the moment. You want to make this memorable for the client. Here's the thing. The more memorable you can make that moment, the more you're going to be remembered. Okay? You don't want to leave that house and they forget all about you. And then somebody else comes in and says, who's your agent? I don't know. Some guy, man. He was bored.
So let's show them what you do at the door now. Are you gonna do that? Hey, how you
No, and I was going to do door approaches, but Lester is doing that
He's
with
gonna do
Olman.
that. No, but because you're talking about.
No, I got you. So, well, yeah, Jan's right. I'll touch on it because I don't want to steal anybody's thunder. But knocking on that door, you don't even walk to the house without smiling. You got to walk to the house smiling, right? See a window, wave. Hey, nobody's there, right? You're just waving, but it works, right? And you don't want to look goofy. We're like, not like that, but have some pep, man. You have to be the guy that they wanna invite in. So I'm gonna use this from a man's perspective.
Just tell them quick, like when Rob shows up at the door, he says they think he's a cop.
Yes, I've had that problem.
So tell them and show them, of course, he's not dressed like this, but how he has to walk up to the door like he's this, like
Yeah.
a little
Well,
bit down, not like he's.
So I have a little bit, when I walk to a client's house, I have a little bit of a strut that makes people think I'm a cop. I get out of the car like a cop, so now I'm driving a Kia, I don't have that problem. But driving my Chevy Malibu, I've had clients say, the house across the street is a gang house, and they were asking about it. And at that point, I'm like, okay, magnetic sign saying life insurance in big yellow letters went on the side of my car. Okay, but I still had the issue. So when I get out of the car, I'm like this, right? I try not to walk like a cop. I don't know what walking like a cop is. But did you tell me that, or was that?
They, I get mixed up as a probation officer.
Oh.
Maybe it's where you talk,
I got to
your
change
voice or
something, man.
Yeah, so when you get out of the house, you get out of the car, listen, look for the windows, wave, hey, like that, and just walk up. A cop's not gonna wave at somebody, right? They're not getting out of the car and waving to the guy they're going to arrest, hey! They're not doing that. So just, when they're watching you, assume they're watching you from the second you get out of that car to the second you get to that door, okay? Friendly, smiling, engaging. I was gonna say before, as a guy, when I was single, I gotta be careful. In the 90s, we used to go to bars and try to meet girls, right? Back when we were single. Well, you don't go to a bar if you try to meet a girl, and or you don't want to do that. What you want to do is when you're going there, you have to sell your world without talking to them. You're selling them your world. And what are people looking for? They want fun and excitement, right? They want something different that other people want that they don't have. And by smiling and kidding around with other people, that makes you seem wanted by others, popular, right? So when you seem popular, they're going to want you more. They're going to want to become part of that world. So when you're arriving at somebody's house, you have to seem like you're the guy. You're the guy, you're smiling, you got your stuff together. People want to be part of success. If we were unsuccessful here, would you guys be here? Or do you come here because you want to be successful? Right? You want to be part of success. Right? So if you ever notice that when somebody who's very successful, a celebrity, let's say Shaq walked in the door, are you guys going to want to talk to Shaq? Shaquille O'Neal? Yeah. Yeah, he's successful, he's popular, he's on TV, for God's sakes, right? So you're gonna wanna be part of that. It's human nature. You wanna be part of success.
Hey Rob, let me give you an example of an agent and how he did it. He played football at Arizona State, probably 6'4", just a big guy who can be intimidating coming into people's homes. First thing he would do when he walked in the door is take his shoes off.
Yep.
He'd go to the counter and get a glass of water and get a drink, say, you want one too? So he would take that level down. It's not gonna work for everybody, but
No.
it worked for Kevin
Kevin
McGill. And then he would bring that level down and he wasn't a salesman then, he was part of the family.
That is a strong answer.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a strong answer.
But we say, can we take our shoes, can we leave our shoes here? Or
Yeah,
inside?
you wanna sit inside or out.
We'll say that, but then go get the water.
That's a strong.
I say if you're 6'4" and that big, you can go and open.
Yeah, nobody's gonna stop you. 6'4", 280, nobody's stopping.
Yeah, right.
Hey, get out of here! What? All right, so enthusiasm. Speak less and listen more. This is something that everyone forgets. Once in a while, it's not about you. It's about the client. Always has been and always will be. The client is the most important person in that room. So when you go in, you're interviewing them. They're the celebrity, right? They're the celebrity. You're interviewing them. You're asking them questions. You got to keep in mind, when you're talking about final expense, our clients are 60, 70, 80 years old. Nobody's come and seen them in days, weeks, sometimes months. They've been alone. They need somebody to talk to. As a matter of fact, you'll probably get somebody that filled out a lead card just so somebody comes and sees them. That happened to me about a month ago. Is that sad, right? It shouldn't ever happen, but it does. So keep that in mind. Speak less, listen more. They need people to listen to them. If you do that, you're going to be in. You will be in with that client. Nobody's listening to them. You're that guy, you're in. Be prepared. Don't prepare the morning that you're going out. Makes no sense. Take 5 minutes on Sunday. Take your leads into your route planning app. Get everything together. Make sure you know where you're going, what time you're leaving, how long you're going to stay out. Have some kind of preparation before you leave the house. But also be prepared when you knock on a door and somebody says, "What's this about?" So, I love new agents, I really do. And most of you guys are new, or a lot of you, right? Go to a door with a lead card and you feeling good. You're like, yeah, man, I'm gonna sell it. Go up there, you knock on the door, hey, how you doing? I'm here to sell you, some life insurance, or I'll say my approach, okay. Hey, my name is Rob. You filled this card out not too long ago. I'm just here to go over the information you requested. What information? Most new agents are, you filled this out for life insurance. You stumble. You've got to be prepared to get that objection. Chelsea, we went out. We got that at every door that talked to us, right? You're going to get that. Every house is going to say, what information? Just show them the lead card, right? Oh, you sent this in, looks like for the life insurance, cremation, burial, and funeral plans. Now, why do I break it up? It says life insurance right on it. It doesn't say any of the other stuff, but why do I break it down?
Most people, think burial and cremation insurance is something completely different than life
Right?
insurance.
They think it's
There you
different.
go, bingo.
They think that cremation plans and funeral plans and final expense plans and life insurance are different. So for a quick example, I have a client, I sold her a couple of policies, I want to say 4 or 5 years ago. Mutual of Omaha policy, I sold her the first one. It was for $10,000. Then I delivered the policy, she goes, you know what, Rob? I've been thinking about getting a burial plan for cremation. I said, well, that's what we just did on that one. She said, no. I want one for cremation though. I said, but that's what, that one will do that too. No, I want one for cremation. That's my life insurance. I want one for cremation.
Yes, you do.
No, that's exactly what I did. I said, oh, you want one separate for cremation. Okay, I rolled with it. But you know what? It caught me off guard because I've never heard somebody do that before. So I had to say, well, okay. Listen, I'm a little slow sometimes, so it took a minute to register. But I picked up on it. I gave her what she asked for. Okay, so let's be prepared and proactive, not reactive. This is actually one of the downfalls for a lot of leaders is failure to be proactive. See what's coming. If you can't see what's coming, man, you're gonna have some tough times. So you got to try to prepare in advance for something. So a good example of that, when my son was young, I'm going to give you an example of being proactive and reactive. When my son was young, and many parents, most probably do, I used to try to, see what he was doing, right? And think, all right, can he get hurt doing this? You know what? He could grab on that, and then this could fall, and then maybe get hurt. Okay, I got to stop that. So I make some changes.
That was one.
No, I did it. But here's the thing. There was one time I left a can of paint,
Oh, yeah.
and I left it in the corner of the dining room. I figured, nobody's going to trip on this and put it out of the way. Well, my son goes running around, boom! His eye right on the edge of that can of paint, had a black eye. When I got home, her and my mother-in-law just laid into me. And I heard it for weeks. As long as that black eye was on his face, I heard it every day. Morning, she'd wake up, he's got a black eye, At dinner, Joe's sitting there eating dinner. Rob, black eyes because of him. So be proactive, not reactive. Think of what could go wrong and prepare for it before it goes wrong. Try to avoid it, okay? So let's move on. Mindset. So I'm going to let's go back 1 second. I'm going to hit mindset, the 3 close and sell on value, not price, because I have slides on those. So mindset, it starts when you wake up. From the second you wake up, your mindset for the day is start, okay? You're going to wake up, warm up, and show up. So how do we warm up, right? Anybody have a good answer for that? How do we warm up for the day? Anybody?
Go to the gym.
Well, that's not a bad one, but it's not the one I'm looking for. So,
Talking in the mirror.
yes, boom, great job.
There you go.
So,
Got the left.
wake up, warm up, show up. You're warming up, right? You're practicing your approach. Maybe you're thinking, you have to have it in your head, I'm thinking business. My day's gonna go like this. Come up with different scenarios, how you can improve, right? You gotta get your head right before you're even on your way to your client's house, okay?
Like audio books or.
Yeah,
or
audio books
recent
are great,
calls or
a great
something
way,
while you're
yep.
driving to your client.
It's self-improvement time, right? So let's wake up, we're gonna warm up, and then you gotta show up. You can do 2 to 3, but it's not gonna work. If you don't show up, you're just not gonna have anything. So you actually have to show up. Showing up, show up to the client's house, show up ready to work. Leave it at home. What are some of the things we need to leave at home when we go out for the day to sell?
Personal issues. The day
Personal
before.
and distraction. So we need to leave distractions. When I first got in the car sales business, and I mentioned this at our last training in October, November, Jen wasn't here for that one, unfortunately. But I was working at Hendrick Automotive Group, and I was maybe there for about 3 to 4 weeks, and I loved it. I loved working there. I really did. And I came home and I said to her, listen, at the time, we were on food stamps, I think at that time, weren't we?
In the beginning?
Yeah, at Hendrick in '09.
Yeah,
Yeah, we were on food stamps, not doing good. And I took that job, and Jan talked to a friend who was a pastor, and his name was Father Pani. I'll never forget that man. He changed my mindset. He changed my life, basically. And I never talked to him. I never talked to him, right? You talked to him. And he told Jan that Jan said, oh, we're glad Rob just got this job at Hendrick Automotive Group. And he says, Janet, what did you tell him? What did he say?
He said that Rob had the job, I remember it was, you got the job November
Second.
2nd. Rob went on the interview, I think October, like 18th or something, 20th. And he told me on the phone, we prayed a lot and cried a lot and just wanted that. And we just prayed on it. And he told me that Rob had that job. Like,
Yep.
I knew that he had it before he had it. I felt it, I believed it, I knew it, like it was that time. And you know, since then, I would say we were always believers. I know I was growing up and stuff, but even more so in life as things happen to you, you believe that.
Yep.
That's what changed our life, because we knew it. I'm like, Bob, you got this. You already got this. What are you worried about? We got this. You know?
The funny thing is, I started that job, I hated it for the first 2 weeks.
He didn't even want to go. He
I
was,
wanted to
sick with
quit.
he was sick with the flu, laying on the couch. He gave up his construction business. I was still raising the kids and working, doing my thing. So we needed the benefits and stuff. And he had the flu, and he goes, I don't like car salesmen. I go, hon, you build cars, you know cars. Just go. We're gonna get benefits. And he was like, no, I don't like car salesmen. I'm like, please just go. So we went, and he was in the job like 4 days. And I'm like, hon, how do you like the job? He's like, oh my gosh, it's like a car party every day. And then he was top 4 in sales in the first year, and I was so proud of him. So it was his calling to start his journey there to make it here.
Yeah. So, but Father Pani did say one thing she left out. He says you'll never have to worry about money again,
Oh, he did say that.
right?
He said-
Never have to worry about money again. It's mindset. That's mindset. This guy put that on me. He put that bugaboo on me. I couldn't, you have to live up to it. Right? So, but I did tell Jan, I can't, listen, I cannot deal with the pressure from the bills. When you have no money, and I don't know if everybody can relate, but when you have no money and you got out of control, spiraling debt, that's pressure, man. And you cannot sell if that's on your head. You need somebody to help you take that away. You have to sell with a clear mind. Because if you have that on your head, man, you're gonna have some rough days. You are. You have to worry about what you can control, not what you can't. Right? So worry about what you can control and address the things that you can't when you're not focused on selling.
Can't have passion for it.
So leave it at home and be infectious. Your personality in sales, I don't care if you're selling bubblegum or you're selling insurance, you have to have an infectious personality, something that people want to be a part of, like we touched on earlier. You have to show up to win. A lot of people just show up, they just want to work, right? It's a job. This ain't a job, dude. This is your career. This is you. This has your name on it. This is your business, and you're responsible for your success. Now, you can choose it 2 ways. You can either run your business, or your business is going to run you. And let me tell you something. When that business runs you, that's a tough one. Your life is going to be miserable because you're just not going to pay attention to the finer things, and it's going to spiral out of control, and it becomes eventually become a death spiral. You don't want to be in that death spiral. Now, everything can be reversed regardless of what stage you're in. You just have to ask for help. Hey, how do I do this? What can I do to get this fixed? How do I straighten my life out? Show up to win. You don't just show up to play. Anybody can show up to play. If you want to be on the One Life leaderboard, and there's some big names on that One Life leaderboard. I mean, crazy numbers, right? We were talking about last night, Kevin. $100,000. How do you do that, right? They show up to win. They're just not showing up. They're showing up to win. They're mastering their craft. Refuse to lose. Don't accept failure, man. You're going to fail most of the time that you're selling anything. But you have to leave it behind. Forget it, short memory. And what's your why? I know what my why is. My why is my wife, my family, you guys. My why, there's a lot of why for me, okay? I would never want to let anybody down. Least of all my family or you guys, okay? So what's your why? Find it, write it down, and remember it. And sacrifice. So this is the key. What are you willing to sacrifice for success? You're going to sacrifice maybe going to the beach on Saturday. Maybe instead of taking 5 one-week vacations a year, you take 2. You know, what's going to be your sacrifice? You're going to have to, especially in the first year or two, any new business, you're going to have to sacrifice time typically. But how much are you willing to sacrifice? That'll determine how successful you'll be. 3 closes at every door, or every house, I should say. So your first close is going to be at the door. If they don't like you, you are not going in that house, and you are not selling anything. If they don't believe that you're legit, that's why you kind of have to look the part. You're going to sell on the couch. Now you're selling your personality, your life, right? What you can do to help the client. You're selling that. You're selling them the belief that you're there to change their family's direction. And then presenting numbers. That's where showing value in your product is going to separate you. Branding yourself, which we're going to touch on a little bit, it's going to separate you from the rest. Because anybody could just show numbers for insurance. It's how you do it and what you bring to the table for the client. And we're going to touch on that in branding. So showing price. With showing price, we always want to reduce to the ridiculous. You can have all this for only $3.87 more. So earlier, because I should remind me of that, I mentioned $3.67 earlier, right? When I was talking about doing a paid-up policy. That's just habit for me, right? I learned that in car sales. Even though it's not $3.67, I don't know what it is. $16 a month is not, or $14 a month, they said. It's not $3.67 a week. I can promise you that. I don't know what it is. But $3.67 sounds a lot better than $14 a month. I know that, right? So reduce it to the ridiculous. And quite frankly, I wing that a little bit. I don't figure it out exactly to the penny. Yeah, Joe, for only $2.87 more a month, you're only going to make 20 years of payments rather than 100 years of payments. Makes sense, doesn't it? I get it. Don't use rounded numbers. Always use $, and cents. Okay. Next thing, always include all riders and the value of the riders. Next screen, I'm going to go into more detail on that. That's where you're going to build value in the policy. You also have to build value in the insurance company. Don't forget, American Amicable has been around since 1910, right? Same building, same address. Because they didn't move that building, did they? There you go. Ask the client when you're showing the price which option works best for them and reinforce their choice. Oh man, let's say they go for the cheapest one. Honestly, Joe, I was hoping you were going to say that because I want to make sure this is in your budget. And then after a few months, if you decide that, hey, you know what, I could probably afford to pay a little bit more, call me and we'll go back over it and we'll get you a little bit more. Sound fair? Okay? Show concern for your client's budget. You have to project your sincerity from your soul through your eyes. Okay? When somebody cares about somebody else and genuinely cares, somebody else is going to be able to pick up on that. okay? And they're gonna look you in the eye when they do it. And they're gonna say, you know what, this dude's the real deal. So show concern. Use inflection in your voice when going over the benefits. Really, you should be using inflection in your voice in a lot of ways throughout the entire sale. Matter of fact, during this presentation, you could hear me changing the tones and inflections of my voice, right? You use different inflections to get your point across. You use different inflections to show sincerity, okay? Showing price. On this one, I put together face value of 10,000, accidental is 10,000, terminal illness 5,000, chronic and critical 5,000. Okay? But I'm going through this with the client. I'm showing them this. Let me see if this will work on here. Oh, there's no laser pointer. They cheated. So, but I'm showing them that stuff. I'm showing all three options. And then at the end, I'm not even telling them the price. It's down there. They have eyeballs. I want them to read it. Okay? Now, premium start in April, agent service for life. This is not something you're gonna wanna put on there. These are just scenarios, okay? So if the client is getting cash back, list it here. So premium starts in April, agent service for life, oh, and you get $652 back, okay? If the client has existing insurance, let's say we talked about it earlier, 10K policy for $46.79. No, Joe, listen, for only $4.22 more, you can get set up where you're only paying 20 years rather than 60 years. I think that makes more sense, don't you?
You shake your head.
Nod your head, okay? So sell the difference, don't sell the price, okay? Now, if they don't have any insurance, or you're not, putting them up to a 20 pay, and you're just adding on, say, well then say, okay, so option one, there's a price for that, option two and option three. Which one works better for you, Joe? And shut up. The first person to speak loses every time. Don't talk. After you go through all that value, then you're gonna show them the numbers. Any questions on that?
So what's the purpose of, I don't know what it is, but I just want to hear it so everybody else can hear it.
Okay.
What's the reason that you're nodding your head?
It's suggestive, it's a suggestion, it's a nonverbal suggestion. Okay? It's pace leading is what it is. So you want to make sure that and there's some things that you actually say, we'll probably get into them a little, that's good, man. That's why you're the freaking man, bro. See, he knows this stuff.
That's why I'm
You
sitting
did
here.
car sales too, didn't you?
I did not do car sales. I've never been in sales.
You should have been.
That's the thing.
Car sales. He should have been car salesman. When I buy a dealership one day, I'm hiring him. So, yeah, suggestive behavior. Matter of fact, a lot of experts get into mirroring. Have you heard of mirroring? Okay. So when you're sitting in front of a client, if they cross their leg, you cross your leg, right? People want to deal with people like them, and by mirroring them, it gives a suggestion that you are like them, and they feel more comfortable with you. When they feel more comfortable with you, what's going to happen? Post-close, we just sold the policy. Now let's be honest. Everybody be honest. Raise your hand if you sold a policy and left immediately after. Nobody? Come on.
Well,
Wait a
hang
minute.
on, what do you call
Lee
it?
even did it. Yep.
What do
Lee
you call
did
it immediate though?
it. Within 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes.
Got to say that out of here.
So you got a post-close. All right, I'm going to go over this even though you're all experts on this. Okay? You want to ask the client some questions. Remember, they are seniors, and many don't remember things very well. So, Joe, how much is your premium? How much was it? And he'll tell you. Well, when did we say it was going to be due? They're going to tell you, right? Oh, and how much coverage do you have? Okay, great. What type of insurance do you have? Whole life or universal life? Okay. You must feel better now knowing that, you must feel a whole lot better now, right? I mean, knowing that a weight, you got this handle and a weight's been lifted off your shoulders, right? Not in your head. Always nodding, right? Make sure you call me for anything you need. I'll be back in 2 weeks with your policy. If they send it to you, please call me and let me know, right? Set your expectations and deliver on them. The worst thing you can do to screw up your sale is tell them you're going to call them and you don't call. I just got my last sale by doing that. Lady says, you know, this guy said he was gonna call me on Monday at 4, and that was 2 weeks ago. I said, well, I'm here, and I'll call you. If I tell you I'm gonna call you, I'm gonna call you. So I'm going to call her, but I sold her the policy first. Okay? Any questions on post-closing? So don't just sell and run, right? Let's sit down, sit back for a second, and say, what did you say about your son before? You said, what branch of the military was he in? Ask questions, man. Rehash that relationship. That relationship is so powerful. And it'll get you the opportunity to get referrals out of it, too. And don't forget to ask for referrals, by the way. So, all about the leads. This is one of my favorite ones. So, we have fresh final expense mailers. I love fresh final expense mailers. Yep. We have A, B, and C leads. Okay? I love B leads. I do. I gotta tell you, I love those things. When Kevin Buck's not in here, when me and Kevin Buck were training, I would buy B leads up in Greensboro, and we crushed them. People never came. They bought. Lee, were these brand new leads, the B leads, and you just didn't want to deal with the Walmart gift card or something?
Nobody worked them.
I'm telling you, because I go to every house, and I train my agents. I say, nobody ever went to these leads. I had one lady that, she filled this out, I think it was 2-3 years ago. And I said, yeah, somebody sent, now, I'm gonna give you my approach on an old lead, because it's really effective for me. So, I knock on a door, if I meet somebody outside, I'm saying, hey Joe, my name is Rob, you sent this card in quite some time ago, but nobody came to see you. So they sent me out to make sure you got the information you needed. It only takes about 5 or 10 minutes. Can we sit inside real quick? Boom.
Rob, there was a guy who I've known very well, some of you may have heard of him, years and years ago. We used him a lot at Shenandoah and Occidental. I know Mark knows him. Named Don Runge, lives in Texas. And he used to speak on leads. They called him the lead guru. And his speech title was Good Lead, Bad Lead. He'd quickly say, there ain't no bad lead. You know, somebody sent this in sometime, exactly to your point.
Yep. So, you're working old leads. Taiwan sold a 10-year-old lead, freaking 10 years
Yeah.
old.
Right.
Man, that is getting it done. That's walking the dog, as I say, right? That's walking the dog. Phone leads and phone appointment leads. Listen, they're not my favorite, and I don't really. I move on from there, but I have agents. Rob has agents. Rob works them and does great. Okay, me, I'm an in-your-face on the door guy.
You're talking
Right.
about.
Now, I like to set appointments,
You're
though.
talking about making phone appointments
No,
or using the phone leads?
the ones from
That they call in?
Malik, I think it is.
Yeah,
Oh,
teleleads,
the
teleleads.
teleleads?
Yeah.
Yeah, tell me. So mortgage protection leads. Man, we have some good mortgage protection leads. But I want you to master the final expense before you get into that. Okay, it's a different type of clientele. Okay. Now, keep in mind that when we're going into our houses in final expense, and this is I could be wrong, and Lee, if I am, tell me. There's a large percentage of annuities that are found in final expense houses. Is that correct?
Absolutely, and more Medicare Advantage.
Yep, and Medicare Advantage. So, if you're not licensed with Medicare, go on the WhatsApp thread. Somebody will be, and they'll give you a spiff. You know, if they sell it, they give you a little, little chunk of change. If you are licensed with Medicare, man, set an appointment, come back, take care of them. Facebook leads. I do my own Facebook leads, which I'm going to get to in a short bit. We might do some kind of a Zoom at some point in the near future on how to do your own Facebook leads. But how many, what type, and how much? Boom, your lead program should be 10 new mailers a week minimum. That's a good number. Now, they have just gone up in price, $3 per lead, by the way. So it'll be $3.90. But if you're making $3-4 grand on them, I don't care about the $30. Fill in with 20+ age leads or phone leads. Okay? So you need to have the leads. You have to have, you want to set yourself up so you're drinking from a fire hose, not from the faucet. All right? Faucets are for average. You want a fire hose. But there's free leads everywhere. Social media, posting on social media, free lead, right? Knocking on open doors. Kevin knows me, I love knocking on open doors. If I'm driving around a neighborhood and I see a door open, I'm knocking on that door. That is a sale. Open doors is open minds, right? Senior centers, that's Jan's little bread and butter there. Do they cost you anything to get in touch with a senior center and set up that appointment? Boom, right? And then referrals.
And if I can make a comment, you know, as an oldest guy in the room here, referrals are solid gold. That's your
They
free
are.
leads. My quick story, and I'll make it quick, but I was working on Labor Day, first year in the business. Nobody in the office. Holiday. Get a phone call. Young man says, I'm interested in buying some life insurance. Of course, I come back with Tuesday or Thursday would be better. He said, about right now. It's Labor Day, I'm going home. I made it a sale, so I drove down to Atlanta Stadium, African-American area. Nice young man came out, invited me into his home. I wrote him a whole life policy, his wife a whole life policy, and his 2 children a whole life policy. I had made it, but I did remember what my manager said, you know, ask him, if this service that I provided to you has been of value, and I hope it has, you probably got a relative or a friend that I could also help. I got 14 apps out of that. His mother, his aunt, by asking if there's somebody else you can help. Don't walk away from free leads. They're sitting there. Like anybody else is gonna ask you, who's your plumber, who's your dentist, you know, why not you? You're a professional in your area, so be sure and ask for referrals.
Yep,
It's
I
a gold
agree.
mine.
Smart.
I saw Lee working last night in the elevator. The guy walks on the elevator,
It
we
happened.
come back from Topgolf.
It really happened.
He says, what company you work for? Lee told him, he said, I'm looking for life insurance, do you have a card?
That really
At
happened on the
Topgolf.
elevator last night.
Well, we're actually gonna get to that. It's funny you mention that because that's a slide later that you gotta talk to people.
Absolutely.
Gotta-
I mean, conversation, right? So, referrals are free, man. And listen, don't let anybody make you think they have no referrals for you. Everyone knows somebody, right? There's always somebody. So get yourself some free leads. Let's go over a couple of quick lead facts. If they sent in a lead 5 years ago, they sent one in 2 months ago. Just because you have a 5-year-old lead, but a lot of people don't realize that lead might have been sent out last week. Just not that particular one, but they probably filled out a lead card either for One Life or for another IMO in the last few weeks because they're on a recurring data list. And these companies keep buying these data lists and sending out leads, right? So somebody's not getting one lead in their lifetime and that's it. They're getting them consistently. Year over year over year, they're gonna keep getting these leads. So you might have an old lead, but I guarantee you they filled out a lead a couple weeks ago. In most cases, no one ever showed up to see the lead, right? These people are bombarded with leads. They sent one in recently, just my point again. I'm just way ahead of this thing. All right, let's go to branding. So Jan's gonna come up and she's gonna talk about branding your business. This is very critical. And so she's gonna kick us off. So let's hear it for her. Come on, round of applause, come on.
Let me go this way so I can read. All right, because he put this together, so I have to do my thing with what he put together, so we'll see how this goes. Okay, branding is your image, right? So branding, your name is everything, your brand. So when you go to a house, you want to brand yourself, right? So we brand Appel Financial Group Insurance, and we have everything that has that on it, right? We give them a pen, we give them a business card, we give them a magnet, we give them a calendar, and
Hand sanitizer.
hand sanitizer, okay? When COVID hit, Janet went and got masks made by a 14-year-old girl in my neighborhood for $2 a mask. I had 100 masks, and every time I went to a client, they got a mask and we took a picture. I even brought the toilet paper.
That
So,
actually reminds me, 1 second, when COVID hit, and this is proactive, I went ahead and ordered 150 hand sanitizers with my label on it. You couldn't find hand sanitizer. National Pen calls me up, hey, you know, we just wanted to see if you need more business cards. I said, no, but you got hand sanitizer? I said, sure do. I said, how much is 150? They said, oh, about $125. And I'll take 150. And sure enough, everybody else looking for it. Who's the hero showing up with the thing that everybody wanted? Right? If I could have gotten toilet paper from them, I would have been all over that. Okay. I'm sorry, Mike, go ahead.
even with the name on it, so when you start in a new business, right? And you're just trying to, you know, work and get paid, and you feel like you don't have enough money because you're paying bills and you can't. We started from the beginning So we just had a business card, and then in time, we got another one that's yellow, that says life insurance, and I have one that I could show you, right here in my pocket. So, look, it says low-cost life insurance, it's yellow, right? So after you brand with them and give them your regular business card before you leave, now they know you're doing life insurance, what do? You give them these cards, I give like 5 of them a time to the families, because they give them out to their friends, it says life insurance, low-cost life insurance, right here in yellow, okay? We got magnets on our cars, so when we show up, you know, I have the Medicare too, but I have the life insurance, low-cost life insurance. Rob also got these signs made. You ever go to a garage sale? You go in the neighborhoods and you see garage sale, you know, make a left or right tomorrow, next week. He got them made. He got them in pink and yellow. And he put them all around. And even in my neighborhood, going to the highway one day, I saw it like right there, like just, there was no houses there. I'm like, Rob, how did they get that over there? But it's like there. It doesn't matter. Somebody sees low-cost insurance. I'm in a house selling policy. I walk out of a development one day and this lady comes up to me. She goes, you sell insurance? And I wasn't thinking, you know, I just left the house and I'm like, yeah, how do you know? And she's like, because she saw the car, right? Another guy called me up. I sold him over the phone. He sold me on the car. I've been trying to call you. I'm so glad you called me back. I am so glad you called me back. So you have to be there for your clients, right? If your client believes that you will be there when the family isn't, or if a problem arises with your brand, that's a positive brand, right? And then we have the negative brand. So we always want to put forth our positive brand. We want to make sure that we're the person that they call first, right? If you don't return phone calls or communication with your client is not good.
That's gonna be your brand.
What does your client think about you then? Do they know you will be there when they really need to rely on you? If somebody passes in their family or they can't make the payment that month? When they need you the most to even handle their issues, that's a negative brand if you're not answering their phone call. When we first started, you know, and you're trying to get used to everything and you see the client call, you're like, oh gosh, I don't want to answer that phone because they're going to cancel. No. And even now, it's positive because they might say they want to cancel. I got a text yesterday that said, can you cancel mine and my wife's policy, please? I didn't even get back to them yet, but I'll have to deal with when I go home. But you have to be there for them, right? Examples for me. I have a client who calls me for everything. She calls me when she gets mail. I just got WellCare. Am I paying Liberty? How much do I pay for Liberty? And then she'll call me, I'm sorry to bother you, Janet, but I just got something else. Am I paying Heartland? Yes, Ms. Patricia, you're paying Heartland $122 a month, and we have you with the Plan D, and we have you with the life insurance, and then another agent shows up, and she lets them in. And it does frustrate me, but of course you can't let them see your frustration.
Right.
Because, and I say it in a nice way, because I said, if I'm yours and I'm your agent that you're going to call, you really can't be letting other people in because they're going to tell you the same thing I am. So do you want to deal with me or them? Because she's taking away my time and my energy and my money that I could be making and the people I can help if I'm constantly with Miss Patricia Kaufman all day long, right? But she's the sweetest and I love all my clients. So you have to show your love and your attention to all of them, right? I have another lady who I wrote like 20 policies in the past 6 years. Because they're always falling off. And sometimes you get frustrated, I'll tell Rob, I'm not going back to write this lady, you know. But I don't really mean it, because it's like I gotta go through this, and the file is this thick for this lady. And then they'll call me up, how much am I paying total? And I'll be driving and working, and I got everything going on in the car. I don't know how much, or what client, or nothing while I'm driving. And then you'll just say, well, when I get home, I will look at your file, and I will be able to tell you. But you can just pull the policy, or you can pull the bullet sheet that I left you, because you leave them with everything, right? But sometimes they just call you because they need to hear your voice and they need to know you're going to be there and you have to call them back, right? I have another lady who's 85 years old. She calls me every year on my birthday, and she just sent me a birthday card on my birthday. I go see her on her birthday. Her birthday's Valentine's Day. I showed up, not on Valentine's Day this year, but a few days later. I had brought her lunch. I brought her donuts one day. I just pop in to say hello. That's what we need to do, okay? I have another lady who calls me to read her mail. She's 81 years old, right? How you doing? I haven't heard from you, Janet. You're not going to get 1,000 calls from everyone, but the ones that you really gravitate to that call you, and that's your referrals. That's the ones that are not going to charge back, right? Those are the ones that you're going to help. And not only are you helping that person, but by helping that person for 2 hours that you didn't get paid for, that you already got paid a year ago, is going to help you because it's positive. We're about helping people. Don't forget that. Yes, we want to make money, we're in this business to make money, but we're there to help people, and we're there to show them, I'm here to help you, because they're thinking you're a sales agent, and, you know, you just want to sell me here. No, you just have to, of course you're getting paid. I had a lady the other day, I was there 2 hours with her, and I didn't make a sale, but I helped her. You know what she did? She pulled out her wallet, and she said, I want to give you $100, and I'm like, no, I can't take your money. And she's like, well, take 40, and she actually gave me 220s, and I said, we're not allowed to take money. Don't you worry, you just thank me and pray for me, and I'll be fine. And so that's what we need to do, right? When somebody passes away, they call us. Why? Because we were part of their world, right? They want us to help them either with the arrangements or show up at the funeral. I'm working one day, I showed up late, they were all in the hearse, ready to go, but at least I saw the daughter in the back, and I got there, and I reminisced, and, you know, of the day I was in the church with that lady. I go to church with my clients and sing with them, and see how their world is on a Sunday. That's what I do.
So that's part of branding, by the way, when you're there at their toughest time, right? You're there to help the family. That's your brand. So.
Then what makes you different, right? So I'll show you things now that give you a positive brand, which is the next slide, right? I mean, did I do all this? What did your client think of you? What makes you different, like we said? On the way here, I got a call from Will, and it was a client's son, and he called Rob too. And Rob's like, hey, Will, how you doing? I just hung up the phone, and then Rob called Will. We're driving down here, and I'm like, why is he calling Will? He's like, oh, I just spoke to Janet, and Rob was like discombobulated. I'm like, oh, because he got a calendar that has Rob and Pell, Janet and Pell. So sometimes they call both of us, right? So I was able to help him. So what makes you different, right? Branding, leave behind, like I talked about, the brochure, bullet sheets, memorial guide, take the time to explain it to them. So Rob was talking about the post-close, right? When you're in there and you sold the policy and you're like, yay, great job, Natalie. We got you approved, so excited, how happy you right now, you know, and then I'm pulling out the bullet sheet. And I said, okay, we got American Amicable, and I put there Patricia Kaufman, $25.50 a month. It's coming out April 3rd at a SunTrust Bank. I put Janet Appel and my number at the bottom, and I go over everything. American Amicable, look at this. They've been around since 1910. This is the building. The A+ rated company, $1 million in assets, right? Day one coverage, tax-free to your beneficiary. How great is that? Terminal illness, nursing home rider, whatever is on that page, you are reading it to them, and you're giving it to them as their receipt, along with everything else that you have to leave with them, okay? You'll tell them that, like Rob said, in 2 weeks when your policy comes in, I will deliver it to you. If you get it first, you call me, but I don't wait for them to call. Because when Janet goes home, I make a file. He's not a file man, I'm a file girl. I worked for lawyers my whole life, and I was taught that way with paper. So for me, it's okay. So I go home and I make a file. And that file, I have a file here to the ones I just sold, a file to call, like all my different piles. If I see in 2 weeks that there's no policy, I will call the company first and find out, did you send the policy? Who'd you send it to? Did you send it to me or the client? Then I can call the client and say, it's been sent to me or it's been sent to you. On the way here, I worked 3 or 4 hours on a whole ride yesterday, calling all my clients to figure out what's going on before I had 3 days off, right? I follow, my work comes with me. I don't leave anybody hanging ever. So I called on the phone and I said, I called Mutual to find out if the policy was coming, and they didn't have apartment 23. So I'm resending it to them. So you have to do the work for them, okay? Then I tell them I'm coming back. When I go back with the policy, guess what? My thank you letter, the memorial guide, on the policy, I pull the policy out, make sure there's no pages that have to be faxed back to the client, to the company. It could be an amendment, it could be I got the policy, whatever. Don't leave it up to the client. You do the work. Take charge of that. This is your job and your career. So you pull everything out. I put the name, Patricia Kaufman, 3350, 10,000 policy. Do not replace. Big letters, because this is a great policy for you. Do not replace. Janet Appel, my number at the bottom. And I show it to them right on the front. And I say, you don't have to open policy, but I do open it and I show everything to them without it. And they call me. If you decide something's going on in a year and you know, you want to make any changes, you don't say if you want to cancel, you don't say if you want to downgrade, you don't say upgrade. If you want to upgrade, you call me. But if there's anything else, before you call the company, call me because I'll help you. Because if that person took a 10,000 policy with you, Jillian, and in 1 month they said, I can't do that, $60, they would have canceled it. If they would have called you, they might have dropped it to $30 a month and went to $5,000, and they would have kept at least half the policy. Because you have to tell them this is to protect your family, right?
Yeah.
Other services you offer, retirement income. So when I'm in the house, I tell them in our conversation, everything that I do for the company, right? And everything that I do to help them. I do Medicare, I do hospital plans as well. Rob doesn't, but I do that as well, so I have both going on. And I do children's policies as well, right? So that's how you get your referrals. So when you're going over the medical sheet with them, and you're sitting with them and talking to them and building the rapport with them, how many kids you have? My pen is going. 3G means 3 grandchildren. 2C means 2 children. I took STEM, I did 120 words a minute, got an award, and I still do it. So I'm fast. So I do all that. Great grands, right? You got great, and you're just writing and talking, and they're like, they don't know what's going on. And after you sold the policy, you're like, so where did you say your kids lived again? Wow, they live right around the corner. And there's the referrals. And we can talk about referrals on how to get them, how to get their numbers, what to give them, how to get them right there. Easy, on another call, okay? Business cards, magnets, calendars, pens, hand sanitizers we talked about, right? And just get one thing at a time. Business cards is fine when you're starting, but then when you get paid, pay yourself. Pay yourself $100 and go get something else. Forget about the bill for now. You'll pay it, right? Business cards and policy, always put one in the policy. Sometimes I staple it to the top with my thank you letter and my picture right there. Picture, picture, picture. Rob knows I love my pictures, and not because I like the way they look, but because they got to see a face. And they'll say, ooh, I like all that hair. Say, oh.
They never told
Okay,
me.
deliver the policy. What?
They never told me that.
They don't like your hair?
Yeah.
Son of a.
Your service is your brand, your service. Who are you? I am Janet Appel with Appel Financial. I am here to go over all of your needs that you're looking for. And then also, talking about Medicare, what I tell them is that, you know the TV, all day long they listen to, you know, all the negative and all the health stuff, and their minds are all full of all this stuff. 800 number, I gotta call, no, you call me. The 800 number is Jen, okay? I can answer any of those questions, any of them. That's a whole nother story too, but you have to be that person, okay? The more your name is around the house, the better the better. A client's kitchen is the most desired advertising space. When me and Rob go in the house, we look right at the refrigerator to see if they got magnets. I'm a magnet picture girl. My kids were always, when they were little, all over. And now we look, and then they'll get up and go, oh. And so if you're looking for the agent that was with them with a policy, and they can't find it, like, oh, did you put it on the refrigerator? And the senior will get up and she'll look around on the refrigerator where they might have it, because, you know, we want to know who's been there and what's going on, okay? Referrals, and more referrals. You always have to ask for them all the time, because there's always somebody to help. If they might not help you that day with getting a referral, when you deliver the policy, you can get the names. But most of the time, we get them. The other big thing with referral is the beneficiaries. If you're doing a policy that does not require a phone number for beneficiaries, you still ask. I always ask for birthdays and phone numbers, I don't care. So my medical sheet, I got everything on the back, on the front, I got another paper on my clipboard. When I go home, it's stapled in my file. It's got her name and address, everything in there, so everything is in there. You can call the beneficiaries and say, hey, Miss Mary, we just got a policy for Miss Johnson, you know, a 20,000 policy, congratulations, so excited that I'm gonna be her agent working with her. And, you know, if there's anything I can do to help you, you know, who do you have your insurance with? Never ask, do you have insurance? Ever ask, do you? It's always, who do you have it with? I never get objections, ever. Who do you have it with? You ask me a question like this. Who do you have it with? Do you have it with Mutual Omaha, American Apple? And then you open up your book and you show them, well, these are all the carriers that I work with. Do you think it's that one? And that's how you start talking to them about what they have. Okay? All right, senior centers. Senior centers are pretty big. Why a senior complex, okay? Time efficient, reach more people in one presentation, okay? Potentially several sales in one day, right? Lower travel expense, gas prices are high. Presentations at the same building every quarter.
Jen, elaborate on that for a
I'm
second.
going to talk about all of them, but I'll just read these quick.
Okay.
28,900 senior facilities in the United States, which is an average of 555 per state. Rob knows his math, he figured it out, that's a pretty good quote there of that. Increased credibility, might be off a couple of numbers, but, increased credibility for yourself and your branding. Management approved you to be there, right? And additional opportunities for Medicare and annuities, okay? All right. Wait, no, go back. I didn't talk about it yet. Okay, right? So, several in the house. I'm gonna go back a little bit. Before COVID hit, I did a lot of senior homes and I did very well with them. Then COVID hit, it was very hard. Just last week, I did my first one. I'm back out there again. So I will revisit the ones I've been to. And I went to this one and I made my food and stuff and I got there and I think 11 signed up and 8 showed up. And I got 8 appointments with all 8 of them. And it was really fun. And, you know, and by the end I was like, Rob, where are you? Can you come and help me with the food and get everything back? And I had him helping 2 people while I helped 3 at the table. So it was a lot of multitasking going on, but it was awesome. So you get to help a lot of people. So what happens is I show up, right? Well, let's step back a little bit. How do we find the senior homes, right? This is from the beginning.
Well, that's gonna be on the next slide.
The next one, how
I
do you
think,
find
yeah.
them?
So what I want you to kind of touch on is, what do we mean by presentations at same buildings every quarter?
Okay, so like the one I did last week, I will go back, I went March, April, May, June, so in June or July, I'll probably do like a 4th of July thing and I will go back because I didn't, you know, they have like 62 apartments and only 8 people showed up, right? So I need to get to all of them, right? So I will go back every quarter and I will book myself every quarter in that building. April 8th, I booked myself for her other building behind it, so April 8th, I'll be going home and doing the next one.
Now, let me just touch on that 1 second.
Yeah.
So by going back every quarter also, it's gonna become something that's expected or consistent. So, you know, Mary might be talking to Joe, I don't mean to use Joe, but Mary might be talking to Joe and say, yeah, the insurance lady was here again. She'll be back though in a couple months, so if you couldn't make it, you just get it next time. You want it to be something that's an occurrence on a regular basis, on and on and on, okay?
And also her presence, her face, is
Yes,
becomes
they're gonna
familiar
Right.
and becomes.
Right,
Well-
but here's the thing now, then after she has touched with everybody, it's gonna become, she's coming back, she's gonna do the reviews. She's here to review everybody's policy.
Right, because you have to review it.
You wanna make sure you get the opportunity to get everybody in that senior center.
And
or
what happened
senior.
was, even when I was there sitting with them, they were saying, oh yeah, that lady was here last week, because they always have reps come in for something, right? There was one lady sitting there, she was the first one in there while I was setting up my Italian food that I made and everything, and she's gonna be 82 in a couple of weeks, and she's sitting there, she goes, I remember you, you did the senior homes. I said, I haven't done any in 2 years. And then I remembered her, she was at another apartment complex, and she remembered me, and she came back. I didn't sell her last time, but I got her this time. But she was very nice, and she was sitting there, she was awesome, so, that's definitely a good point, Rob.
That's,
So, let's see, so visit senior apartment complexes, section 8 preferred, no assisted living, only independent living. So, again, this was trial and error when we first started out, so we're giving it all to you now on how we're successful. So when you're in a complex that you see a lot of doors, what happened?
anybody catch anything up there that's not right?
Doors of them?
4 is not there.
What?
Oh, there we go.
1, 2, 3, 5, 6, you missed 4, what's number 4?
I owe you guys 1, that's all.
No
So,
calculator help there, huh?
He's really good with
Let me
numbers.
tell you, that slide was
So listen, you go in this senior complex, right? And you see that there's an office there. So you might have a lead in that building, which I had a lead in that building, and I've been in this building before, and I know that Bojangles has been in this building from my ex-company, and I know who's been doing this stuff in there. And who wants Bojangles? I don't deliver Bojangles, I don't deliver pizza. I make Italian pasta, I make salad, I make cupcakes. I'm different. I'm standing out, I want something healthier, I don't want that greasy stuff. And the lady in there said, I said, oh, have you guys ever been to the Bojangles seminar? And they said, yeah, and I don't eat that stuff, but I had a biscuit. And I was like, oh, okay. So I go with my Italian bread and everything else, and I give gift cards, and we make it fun. We got the music on, and we dance in and stuff. So I make it really fun. So when I went in the building this time, I went right into the manager, and you know what I did that day? I'm gonna tell you what I did, because sometimes I do it too. Don't think I'm all perfect. I'll go in, I'll be ready to go home, and I'll see the office and someone in there be like, oh, I'll get the lady next time. And I actually was walking to the door, and I turned around, and I went back, because she was in there with someone. So I'm gonna do it now. Never wait. So I went in, and I'm like, hey, how you doing? I'm Janet Appel. Her name was Robin. I said, I have some clients in this building. I'm with Appel Financial and One Life, and you know, I help the seniors with their life and health insurance and all their benefits for 2022. I said, you think we can make an appointment? I can come back. And she was like, oh, yeah, we're just getting back in the swing. And I kind of was boom, boom, boom fast. I pulled out my card. She was sitting with a resident there. And she's like, I'm going on vacation next week on the 15th. I'll be back of March. I go, all right. I pull out my phone right away. Calendar's so important. Pull it out, because you're important, right? My calendar's important. My time is important. I pulled it out. I go, I was going to do St. Patty's theme, because that's my thing. I'm Irish. But she wasn't going to be back, so we did the 24th and 5th. She goes, you want to do the other building? I was like, yay. So we were going to do 2 of them, but then we had to cancel the one the next day. I said, okay, this is what I do. So you did that part, and she said yes. And it might not go that smooth in the beginning, because you know you're a little nervous and you're talking. You just say, hey, Robin, and you tell them what you do. You know, I do all the senior homes in the building, tell them you do them all. I will go home and send you a flyer on what we're going to talk about. So I actually go home, I print the food, the baked ziti, the tea, the cupcake, so they see it, right? And I put my name and everything, and I put Rob on there, and I put the bullets of what I'm doing, right? I'm talking about Medicare and life insurance and funeral expenses and cremation and, yeah.
I think that was so powerful when you announced like who you are and what you do. So like everybody sitting here, when you introduce yourself to somebody, you need to have a power phrase of who you are and what you do, and it needs to hit them. So
Right.
yeah, that was strong.
All right, thank you. So I send them the flyer, I send them the sign-up sheet, and then I call out 2 days before, how many people, Robin, we got signed up, because I'm making the food. I had 2 trays of baked ziti in the freezer, and I needed to know what was going on. The other tray stayed home and Robin. So I don't need the baked ziti. But anyway, so she's like, I have 11 signed up. I'm like, that's fine. Now, normally what you do is you go 2 days before. Robin's done this as well. You make 60 copies or whatever it is, and you go the day before and you slide them under the door. You make sure they do it, because they will forget. They had it up in the break room. They had it downstairs, but some people, they even forgot. Then you go an hour before in the morning. You get there and you set up. And then what did I do? I took the sheet, and I was by myself. Julie was going to help me, but she couldn't come. And I usually do it myself, but their room numbers are there, right? So I went and knocked on the doors that weren't ready. I went and did it myself, and then if I heard somebody, like I heard the TV on, I would be like, and I waited a few minutes, and then I'd run to the next door. I was like, I felt like I was in a hotel, and then that one answered, I'm like, hey, how you doing? We're having a luncheon in a few minutes. Why don't you come down? We're gonna have some raffles. Oh, all right, let me get dressed. Oh, I forgot. And before you know it, they were rolling in, right? So you make it fun. So when we do the next one, she wasn't prepared, and we didn't get them all under the doors. But we're gonna get the people from there, in the other building, and we're gonna get more from the other building, because I'm going with the flyers. And I think he's coming back to Florida, so I don't know if he'll be back to help me, but
I'll be back down there.
I'll
figure it
help
out.
you for zucchini or whatever, baked zucchini,
Okay.
whatever you cook. I don't care what it is. Home cooking, I'm there.
All
I'll
right.
cook it.
And
She
then
put
check,
regatta cheese in it last time? Oh, it was like lasagna.
Duh.
so check this out. So I'm there, I give 2 gift cards too, and I tell them, so when I get there too, and everything is set up, so, and I'll go over this with you, I have a little questionnaire, and they fill it out. The questionnaire says their name, their room number, apartment number, their address, their phone number, and then I put, do you have diabetes, high blood pressure, blah, 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 and they circle it. Make it very simple. You could copy mine. Do you have life insurance? Do you have burial? So I have a yes and a no, and I know who I'm going to, and I know what's going on. You have Medicaid or Medicare, or whatever. So I do that, and then I hand out tickets. So it's like a raffle. I said, yeah, fill this out for a raffle. We're gonna have a raffle. And then I rip half, give it to them, and then I shake it up, and a few people win the raffle. So I had 2 gift cards, and then I had an extra one, which was, check this out, it was a Humana pill box. This is funny. And it had MTW, you know, when they do it. So it was long, and I wrapped it up. I said, okay, I got one more. I don't know if anybody wants this, but we'll see. So the first 4 people, there's only 8 there. They're like, oh, I have one already. So I kept going to the last one. And then the one lady said, yeah, I have one, but I can use it, I don't have one that has the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So she took it, and then my daughter last week needed it for her vitamins, she's like, so she ran to Dollar Tree and bought one. So Rob said, great idea, go to Dollar Tree, don't say Humana or life insurance. But he said, I'm gonna be putting my stickers on the back. You put your name on the back, and it had Monday, Tuesday, it's a round one, it's really cool, and you open it up, and you put Monday, Tuesday all the way around. So that was cool. So we did that.
Now, one quick tip, don't let them eat before you do your presentation.
No, they eat after.
And all that is after.
No. So they filling out the thing, right? And I have a business card everywhere, and I have my Medicare flyer, which I'll show you quick. My son helped me organize this. It's just a nice card. It's got my picture here, you see, and it says I do maximize this and that health plans. So even the people that I go to Medicare, I get life insurance from them. So, you know, I do cross-sell. You can't in the same appointment, so we'll talk about that. But I leave this on the table, and I'll leave the other ones on the table, because they all really want to talk about this, right? And then, when I'm doing my presentation, it's one presentation for everyone. So you might be nervous at first. You could come and see me and see how I do things and, you know, make it fun. But they're not nervous, so why should you be? You know what I'm saying? It's like teaching children. They have no idea why you're there. You just have to know what you're saying. I don't have a slide. I have a big poster board with 1,000 clients on there with the pictures of Trifold. And I could probably make 2 more with the pictures I've had since. And I bring it. And one lady, she wheeled herself in right at the end. She had a yellow shirt and white pants, and she wheeled herself in. And she went, it was over pretty much, and she went right over to the table, and she saw this, but she was like, wow. What's that? You know, she was so intrigued by seeing me with that family. I treat you like my family. I'm not lying. He knows how close I am to my family. I can try. I am so a family person. You have to treat them like they're one of you, no matter what they look like, how they act, what they say. So she goes, you know what? I need life insurance. I said, well, when I'm done, I'll see you today or tomorrow. I was exhausted, my throat. I was so tired. He came and then he left me, but he took the food. And I was done with these 3 people.
Rob, really? I did not come there, take the food and leave. I helped her clean up. The truth's really wrong. That's totally 100% not what happened.
No, I
helped her load up the truck. I loaded it up for her.
But listen, the lady who rolled herself in took the last plate. She did, because I had a tray and it really was gone with the 8 people. So she took it, so it was gone. So I show up at her door, and I literally walked in, and it was like 4 o'clock, 4:30, 4:45. We were tired. And she goes to me, yeah, I need life insurance. And I'm asking her questions, and I'm talking about, like, I gotta do this to myself. And I'm multitasking, and she goes, go over there. So I went over there, looked at her mail. She had Lincoln Heritage, right? And I said, oh, I came just in time. I said, you know, good, great company, but they're a little overpriced. I can help you. So I'm talking to her, right, Miss Marilyn. And I spelled that with an O, she said, M-A-R-O-L-Y-N. And I said, I got you, don't you worry. She was just so happy I walked in there like she knew me forever. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is great. In 5 minutes, 10 minutes tops, I was out of there with her social, with her Medicare number, with her, everything that she had. She's like, oh, it's over there. And at one point she said, I thought we were going to do this tomorrow. And I said, you know what, we were. But I can get all your information now, and then I could plug it in later, and then it was done when I got home. So I needed all her information just to get it ready, and then tomorrow we could figure it out. But it was just so easy because she just rolled in, saw the picture. Oh, I'm glad you came. I ripped up Lincoln Heritage. It went in the garbage. She told me to do it. So it was fun. So
You're an expert. You know, when you're doing a presentation, you're now an expert. You're a professional.
You are, and then while I'm in there, I see all these elephants with this nose. I told her last night, she had $1 rolled up in the elephant nose, and I had to look at that, and I said, that is pretty cool. Oh yeah, I do that. Now when I go back, I got to find out about that. Like, you know, you want to know how they live and what they do, because they're so excited to explain it to you. What else do you say?
Well, you did set up and prepare.
Set and prepare, how do you set the time of day, how do you follow up, prepare the snacks and food. You could do pizza if you want, you can do Bojangles, you can do whatever you want. Create the flyer, follow up a few days before.
Okay.
So I guess that's it. Does anyone have any questions on that part?
Oh, I bet.
On the senior homes?
Now, if you want, we can set up a Zoom for that as well. We're going into more detail, okay?
And make
So,
sure it's
just, text
section
Dan.
8, and not assisted living. You wanna make sure they can take care of their stuff, they can take care of everything.
Okay, so let's, I just need to see,
What's the other
oh,
thing
good,
you
we're good, we're on time. We're on time, Boyd.
Yeah, Jan, quick question. Are you calling the senior homes and booking appointments, or are you doing a lot of that face-to-face?
Well, if you're in the senior home like I was with that one, I'm
Okay.
going in. But when I'm in there and the office is closed, they're only there 2 days a week,
Right.
you'll see office closed.
Gotcha.
And I take a picture of the number,
Got it.
and then I call them up. Or, there's a, you could do it by phone with a list, we've done it years ago. Like, we have a whole list of all the housing, and you can call them and say, I am so-and-so.
That's what I was
I'm making
getting
an appointment.
There is a
You
list.
can do that too. It's nice in person, but
Okay.
you can FaceTime them, and you can do that as well.
So I have a web address that I can share with everybody. You can type in your zip code and it'll tell you all the low-income housing in your area.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
So,
so,
when you're doing the presentation, like, how do you go about it? Cause I'm just used to leaving business cards at senior citizens
Oh, really?
or assistant living like that, but the way you're approaching it is like, you're drawing more, you know, so how do you, like? are you-
Right, so basically when you get
you
up,
mean,
like,
hang on, because does he mean the manager, when you're talking to the manager or?
Well,
or-
yeah,
when
like,
I'm
how do
doing
you
the
got, like, when you talk to the manager, how
There you
do
go.
you, like, what are you asking them to do per se? Is it like a, you know,
Oh,
you-
it's senior
you're using the
informational
cafeteria and, you know, they have this whole, hour or two planned out, you know,
right, so every senior home has a break room and a lunchroom, and they do these things. We did a retirement income one a couple of weeks ago. We didn't do that well because everybody seemed to know what they had and they didn't want us to go in their business, but we did one together in a beautiful complex, and we did more of the retirement income and not the lower income for the annuities, right? With that, when I walked in, it was all about that. Oh yeah, they want to know about what to do with their 401ks, and we do stuff every week for them. So they had they know. So when you walk in, some of them need something to do. So when they hear food and they hear raffle, they hear fun, they're not really looking at what you're selling, but you really are. So you're just making yourself presentable by saying, I'm the local benefit coordinator, I'm the retirement specialist, or the benefit specialist in the area, to go over with them, you know, their insurances that they qualify for, and make sure they have everything that they need. I'm the local person here. And and then make sure they have a break room, make sure they have something where they can put people, and I'm sure that they do.
Yep.
Okay.
So, great job. Yeah, let's give her a round of applause. I do have to say, she nailed it. Okay, she nailed it.
I have to go on and on.
So, when agents first come on, they're gonna fall into two categories. Those that just wanna, you know, sell their insurance and go home, right? And that's cool. You know, it's a good career. It is a career. But then it's the guys and ladies that wanna build their agency. They wanna have people working with them. They wanna partner with agents. And that's what we're gonna touch on. I can't go into so much detail because there's so much involved, but you have to see if you're ready. Are you ready for the financial burden, the responsibility, the risk? Are you ready to make it about the team and not yourself? Are you ready for tough decisions? Boyd had some tough decisions this year, didn't you? Right? Are you ready to make sacrifices? My day is ripped to shreds every day because I'm helping my agents that trust me and that count on me and work with me. We're partners. I owe it to them. So I sacrifice heading to knock on a door. I stop on the side of the road and help. And I love it. I don't mind doing it. I don't want anyone to ever think I mind doing it. I don't mind. It's what I have to do. It's my obligation. I want to do it. Okay? I understand it. If I want to move forward, I have to help you move forward. Okay? If you have no growth, you're stale. You're done. Right? So, financial burden, yeah, there can be financial burden. Doesn't mean there is. Right? But you have to be ready to maybe help buy your team leads if they need it, right? Step up when they need help. Responsibility, you're responsible for those people that are trusting you, right? The risk, listen, I'm not here to tell you that it's sunshine and rainbows. There's a bad side to it that if you let it be bad, it can be really, really bad, right? The agent leaves, he leaves a little bit of a wake behind him, right? Maybe get some debt rolled up to you, maybe $1,000, maybe more, right? It's not unusual, it can happen. Are you ready for that? Are you ready for that chance that that could happen? And if so, how are you gonna handle it? Are you gonna bury your head in the sand, hope it goes away, or you gonna just, think you got knocked to your knees? Are you gonna pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and address it and handle it? Okay? About the team, it always is about the team. It's always about everyone else, never about you, ever. Same with the clients, remember, earlier in the client's house, never about you. Attracting agents. I like that slide, by the way. So there's two types of markets. There's cold market and warm market. I'm going to go over to cold market. Jan's going to touch on the warm market. So the cold market is agent lists from state-based systems. Most people don't know about state-based systems, but it's a place where you can get a list of every single agent that's ever gotten a license in any state in the country. Okay? So you want to target them. All right? So for example, you answered my email. You answered my email. You answered my email. And Ken, I tried not to hire. It was a mistake though. I had him confused with another dude that was a football player in like Arkansas. And I was like, this freaking Ken Bond keeps applying for the job. And then I kept throwing out the ding, and then Jan actually reached out to him and saved him. So credit her for that. But so state-based systems, I can get a list of agents that became agents in 2015 if I want from there. You'll get 1,000, 1,200, 1,500 names for $50 or whatever, right? So then you're going to set up a bulk email and a bulk text. So you can use a bulk text system, and it looks personalized. Chelsea, when you got that email, it looked like I sent it to you only, right? Right? Joe, same thing. You guys were part of a list of 6,800 names, and I just happened to get the best of them.
I was just gonna say that, but
So, just to throw you another suggestion, and this
Yes,
is from the old guy here, but way, way back, I had an interest before email, before that we had opportunities to recruit other people. Just another way, it is ethical, some people may question this, but I had a manager way, way back, and we went to a strange town, Macon, Georgia, in fact, we didn't have anybody there. Didn't have any agents, we're looking for agents there. He said, get the phone book out, we're sitting in a hotel, he said, look up New York Life. Yeah, I got him on the phone, he calls and the receptionist answered. And he said, I think his name is Park Herbert, this is Park Herbert, I'm trying to reach an agent, I don't remember his name, but I know he's one of your top agents. And he talked to me about a proposal about some insurance, and I'm really interested in talking to him, and she'd say, well, that must have been Rob Boyd. No, that wasn't him. So you write down Rob Boyd. Maybe it was Bob Appel. You write that down. You get 2 or 3 names, and then you call them to the office. Can we have a cup of coffee together?
By the way, ding! You don't think I'm going to use
Just a
that?
suggestion from a guy that talks.
Listen, I'm going to use that.
We got 3 agents in Macon because of that.
I'm going to use that, and I'm going to get emails. So, Facebook and LinkedIn groups another way. Now, let's be honest, LinkedIn not so good, but Facebook is very, very efficient. Okay, just by joining these groups and showing people that you're knowledgeable, right? I've had so many people from a Facebook group reach out to me. Hey, just wanted to talk to you about seeing who you're with and if it might be a good fit for me. So Facebook groups are a great way to do it. Advertising on Facebook is also a pretty good way to do it. It's cheap. Facebook is cheap advertising, it really is. So if you're ready for that, it's something that we can help you with. The job boards, ZipRecruiter is the one I've used the most. So ZipRecruiter, advertising in any job board, you have to be strategic. So ZipRecruiter in particular, you want to use 25, it's their maximum, 25 keywords when you're advertising. So, and you need an ad that has a hook. You're fishing, basically, is what you do, pH fishing. So you're fishing, so what you wanna do is make sure that your ad is different than everybody else's. You know, the Family First ad that has, yeah, you make $3 billion by March. That's not gonna fly. There's gotta be more value than that. There's gotta be substance, okay? It's gotta have something that catches their interest, okay? I have a good ad for that. Bulletin boards. Bulletin boards. This is old school, but you go to Sheets. I don't know if any of you have been to Sheets with me at any point, but every time I go into Sheets, the first thing, if I have to go to the bathroom, I wait. I'm going to that bulletin board and taking cards off of that bulletin board. That's 3 people right there. If I see somebody working for Lincoln Heritage, I'm taking that card and I give it to her.
Yep.
Right? She calls them, or I call them. Or sometimes I'll just put together a whole group email or text, and I'll email and text them, whatever, if I can't get in touch with them. So these are free, man. You can get that for free. Social media posts. Just post your stuff on social media. Roderick is not in this room, but we got him from the social media post. Ken's known him forever, right? Or no, you got him because of the social media. He saw your name on the leaderboard.
What he said he lived in
Right.
his hometown or something?
He saw it, he posted the leaderboard. And so Roderick called him, because he's been working on it. All of a sudden, Roderick calls him and says, hey, listen, I see your name on a leaderboard all the time. Isn't that what he said?
That's awesome.
So Taiwan got an agent. Not too bad. And then bulk bulk text. Jen, touch base on that warm market for me.
I'm trying to do my notes because he put this together. I don't want to forget anything. All right, so warm market, word of mouth. Of course, like friends and family, if they're looking for jobs. Yeah, if they're looking for jobs, they might be in the restaurant business. Restaurants are going down since COVID. There's a lot. Nurses, my 2 cousins' kids had to leave New York because mandating shots, and some of us don't believe in the shots, and some of us do. So, you know, we have to make these choices on what's going on, right? Casual conversations. We've talked to waitresses that have been good to us, you know, as they're waitressing, like, wow, that girl would be good for insurance, you know, and you give them your card and you talk to them and stuff like that, so that's good. Just having a casual conversation. Client referrals. Sometimes, we got one agent that way. I did a policy for the wife, and she said, oh, my husband's getting, I was like,
Oh, Benita, the friend.
Lemuel and Benita came from sales and came from, I used to be like in the 10K club, my own company, and we were somewhere, and we just loved this waiter. We wanted him, and we got his mother. And she's a little bit with us, but like in and out, pretty much part-time, but it just doesn't matter. You just don't know when you're gonna hit that home run, and you're gonna, you know, find someone. Social media posts, like Rob said, posted on Facebook and our other company. The first time we were in the company, I posted on Facebook and we hired somebody through somebody. She's still in insurance and changed her whole life. So connecting. So when we connect with everyone, we need to be a good listener. So even when you're connecting with the person, you want to find out about them, right? You want them to talk and what's their needs, right? Is it freedom? Is it more money? What is it that they, you know, talking less and listening more, just like when you're with your clients, right? We need to find their hot spot, find out what motivates them. You know, are they competitive? Are they competitive? Are they have good work ethic? Have they won awards in their other jobs? Were they salesmen before? You know, things like that, depending on where you met them. I met a guy from an AT&T 6 years ago, and that's how we found Rob Boyd, who worked with us actually in our other company, and look where he is today. He moved on, and now we're back with him. So if that didn't happen, and Janet wasn't in the phone place meeting one guy, who knows what will be happening, right? So it's our journey just for our children too. You're in the right place at the right time with the right people, right? Give them your business card and you tell them, listen, I know it's not a good time to talk, but just text me or call me. I always ask for the phone number, and I'll just touch on that. When you give your business card out, in the beginning I used to give them out. I used to drop them. No, if you're talking to the person, you're pulling out your phone and saying, oh, what is your number so I can call you when I'm in the neighborhood tomorrow? And when you're doing it like that, like it's natural, they will give you their phone number. You're pulling out and you see a guy going to put the mail in the mailbox, like, hey, how you doing? I'm the benefit coordinator, whatever you say you are in the neighborhood. I just met with your neighbor over there, and you give them the card, and you just, oh, you're gonna be around tomorrow? I'm gonna be here tomorrow in the neighborhood, or I'm gonna be back on Friday. You give them the option, and then you get their number, because they're never gonna call you, right? So, I guess that's it as far as that goes, and I just answered their number, yes. Do you have a question?
Yeah, so everybody in here has got Facebook, right? Facebook is probably the most powerful tool for recruiting. Like if you want to build an agency, right? People are not going to be drawn to you unless you're sharing, right? What you're doing, you're fired up about what you're doing. So if you have Facebook, you need to be sharing off of retirement incomes page every day. Like when people make a sale and there's a picture of a big boom, you need to be sharing that stuff. If you want to get your name out there and build an agency, that's the best way to do it. People are attracted to success, and the more you can showcase that, the more agents you're going to be able to bring in. So if you have Facebook, you need to be in Life Insurance Daily, our Facebook group, sharing everything that you possibly can. That's going to get you guys so many agents, and you really don't even have to do anything except hit the share button.
That's right.
And the other quick thing is, you know, no matter what team you're on, I know we're big with the retirement, everybody's in that WhatsApp. We have our own private apps with just our team as well. But just sharing what you're doing every day and just throwing it out there, and some people can't be bothered with it, that is so important to do. Because it builds yourself, because it kind of, promotes yourself to say, wow, I just had that sale. It gives you that good feeling, and it makes somebody else see what you did. Somebody else is going to thrive off of what you just did, even if it was a $10 sale. Well, I see that guy out there, just like they see Taiwan Bond on that leaderboard. He's doing this himself, and he's getting the attraction, right, from the public, and it's going to come back to you. So you have to lead by example.
So these are our top three, right? Facebook is number one, right? Like Rob Boyd said, it's super effective. It's low cost. You're gonna get fewer recruits, but they're gonna be the ones you want. They're gonna be licensed agents. And it's simple, but advertising can be confusing. Posting is easy. Anybody can do that. But if you wanna advertise, doing an ad, a Facebook lead ad is a little bit confusing. So ZipRecruiter, it's expensive, right? I spent thousands on ZipRecruiter, and I got a lot of people. Mostly unlicensed recruits. A lot of work getting them licensed. That's why it's more work. But they are untouched. They haven't worked somewhere else and been spoiled. They haven't picked up bad habits. You do need 25 keywords and a hook, which I mentioned earlier. But you do run 3 ads at a clip, and you'll typically get 50, well, I was getting 150 applicants a month, but let's just say 50 applicants a month, okay? So, of those 50, you'll keep 1 or 2 or 3. So you're gonna get a lot of unlicensed people. Now, keep in mind that when somebody's been doing insurance like you're gonna get from Facebook, they're good with getting paid on commission. These guys are not. They're not used to it. It's a different human being that can handle getting paid on commission. It's the people that are gonna get paid on commission are generally risk takers. We're risk takers by nature. Everybody in this room is probably a risk taker, right? I know Ken Bond is, and you are.
Amen.
Right? You're always, right? You're a risk taker by nature. So, and I mentioned this at the last training, you can either be a risk taker or you can work for one. But it's gonna be one or the other. So I choose to be a risk taker. And do I get burned sometimes? Yeah, I do. But you know what? I have no ceiling. I'm not caged. Do me a favor, when you have a chance, look up the word captive. Because when you're working for somebody, you're captive. Captive is a caged animal. That's look it up. The first definition is caged animal.
You want to be a caged animal?
I am not a damn caged animal. I'm telling you right now. And when I came here, I told you at the last one, I said thank you, because One Life gave me the opportunity to run with it, right? I was never given the opportunity to run with my creativity. And I'm telling you right now, we're touching this on the next slide, leadership. Leaders are creative. Because if they're not moving anywhere. They're not solving problems. Would you agree, Lee?
Absolutely.
So, SBS mailing list, my favorite one though. It does cost a little, but it's low cost. You're only getting licensed agents. You can get newly licensed agents at that and steal them from the companies they were going to go to. And I do that. I do a great job of that. It's extremely effective. We have a lot of agents I got through SBS. Less work. You use GMass. GMass hooks up with your Gmail, So when you go to write an email and you click send, there's two buttons. There's a send button and a GMass send button. When you click the GMass send button, Jillian gets an email that looks like Rob sent it only to her. And meanwhile, 6,000 other people got that same email. And Joe's like, wow, Rob sent me this email personally.
Right?
And then Chelsea's like, yeah, Rob, he's a good dude. He got me this email.
We did feel special.
They
when we
did.
told you. Yeah, I was just gonna say, man. Now we know how many people you said it to.
Image is everything, baby. You can target your audience, and it's just super efficient, okay? So, what to look for? Jan touched on this a lot. Confidence. The key to a good salesman is confidence. A confident salesperson. Now, you don't have to be a confident person getting started, because none of us are. But you have to have the ability to be confident. You have to be a good communicator. You have to be likable. You want to look for somebody who's had success in their careers. Somebody who came from a business at some point and they were successful. Risk taker, critical. Somebody hungry. Somebody that just has a voracious appetite that can never be satisfied. Somebody who's also a student that wants to learn. You can't be hungry and not be a student, because then you're just selfish, okay? And somebody who has character. So this here is going to prevent you from getting roll up, okay? So your agency and your income. I want to just show you a little bit on how it can help you, okay? So your short-term wealth will come from your own pen. Your long-term wealth will come from your agency. So let's say Jim Bob. Jim Bob has an agency with 15 writing agents. Each agent writes 5 applications a week. Each application is written for only $600 AP. So our average is actually $753 per app, I believe. Okay? Jim Bob's agents are at 95% commission average, and his agents are on top of their business. They take care of their clients. Jim Bob also has a 10% override on all his agents. So let's do some math. 15 agents, and they all write 5 apps each. That's 75 applications. 75 applications at $600 annual premium is $45,000 per week. Only 36,000 issues, as there are some unhealthy clients that couldn't get approved. Another 6,000 was guaranteed issue, which pays much less, so we won't even include that. We'll take out $6,000 for that. The remaining 30,000 gets advanced at 75%, which is 22,500. Jim Bob gets 10% of that because that's his override. So $2,250 his override for that week. Jim Bob's doing good, ain't he? Jim Bob will get the remaining $750 when the client makes their 10th, 11th, and 12th payments. Then Jim Bob gets a cut of the renewals. Jim Bob's doing good. Who wants to be like Jim Bob? We all want to be like Jim Bob, right? Well, let's talk about that.
How'd you make up Jim Bob?
To be like Jim Bob, we're touching on a subject that I have never seen an IMO touch on at training. So I said, you know what, I want to be different. I want to be unique. I want to be original. I want to be cutting edge. So let's talk about leadership. Leaders, these are some traits that leaders typically have. Number 1 is confidence. That's the number 1 thing. Leader has to be confident. Okay? If a leader's confident, others are going to have confidence in him or her. The leader always has a plan. They don't just wing it. It might appear like that. They always have something going on upstairs. They have a heart of a warrior, but compassion for others. They stay calm under pressure. They perform at the highest of levels when it matters most. They gather information first and then take action. They just don't fly off the cuff. They're the first to listen and the last to speak. So when you're in a room and you're listening to other people, find out their opinions first and then base your own opinion. Because now you're basing it on facts, right? On what you heard. They can identify when somebody, this is important, this is a feel you get. You can identify when someone is troubled and initiates a conversation. If you have an unhappy person, you can feel it. You'll know it. You'll be like, something's different. And that's when you want to sit down and have a conversation with that person. Address it. If you let it fester, it ain't good. Okay? Leaders influence others by finding out what influences others. Now, don't mistake that as motivation. It's influencing. Getting them to become or act in a certain manner. Okay? And that goes towards your culture. A leader is a problem solver. They're creative. Right, lady?
Absolutely.
They inspire those around them. And they motivate, cultivate, innovate, and replicate. Replicate is the most important on that list, in my opinion. Okay? Motivate, cultivate, innovates, and replicates. They have to, leaders, in order to go further in their careers, they have to replicate themselves. They need more leaders. So they want to invest everything they have into those leaders. They're followed, and I couldn't fit it all on this. So they're followed because the leader gives the people the best opportunity to be successful. But they're also followed because they're respected, right? They're respected and they're trusted. And because of that, they're able to make or give people the best opportunity to be successful. They're selfless and will sacrifice for others. We talked about sacrificing on the other side, right? They overcome, adapt, and find a way to win. And they fight for the people they lead. When I had a reputation as a no-nonsense guy, and I am. When I was at the car dealership, I literally went nose to nose with not Rick Hendrick, but with the general manager that was over the Raleigh, Durham, most of North Carolina, nose to nose with him. We're yelling at each other face to face because I'm protecting the people that I'm leading and he's not. Okay? So I'm passionate about making sure people are treated right. To me, seeing somebody wronged, it digs at my heart. It really does. So leadership tips. Knowledge and talent is always trumped by execution and drive. It's so true. How many times have we seen, if you watch sports, a talented kid from the minor leagues, but his work ethic is terrible? It just doesn't last, man, right?
You're charting to Minnesota?
Yeah.
Hey,
So,
brother was out Minnesota Twins.
I would rather have someone who executes and is driven over someone with knowledge and talent. But I love them both. 3 beliefs you must have as a leader. You must believe that there is treasure in. I got this from Tony Robbins. Crazy, right? Tony Robbins. You must believe there is treasure in your business. You must believe you will find it, and you must believe it's worth the search. Because it's going to take time. We don't start climbing a mountain at the top of the mountain. A lot of work to do this. It is, okay? But is it worth the climb? If you think it's worth the climb, then make that climb. If you don't, don't. Don't go halfway. You're all in or you're not. Motivation is fleeting. Drive, determination, and discipline is forever. On one of my calls earlier in the year, am I on time?
Food is here.
Okay, so I'm done in 2 minutes anyway.
Okay, cool.
So, talked about this on my call earlier in the year, discipline. A lot of people say, you know what? Oh, I need more discipline. No, we don't need more discipline. We have enough discipline. Do we get up in the morning at some point? We wake up at some point, right? We're here, right? We have discipline for that. Do we eat dinner? Most of us do. We eat sometime during the day, so discipline to do that, right? Discipline is fine. You have enough discipline. You just have to direct it. Redirect it from the things that are hurting you to the things that will help you. So if we, and a lot of people are incorrect when they say develop a habit in 21 days. Nobody develops a habit in 21 days. It takes 66 days, if I remember correctly, to develop that. That's the low end, to develop a habit. So this year, everybody can literally develop 2 habits typically, okay? So if you start today in redirecting your discipline to where it needs to be and develop that habit now you can redirect another part of this, a little bit different discipline to another part. And now you're gonna become the agent or the entrepreneur or the leader that you wanna be. But it starts inside. It doesn't start here, it doesn't start anywhere else. It's in you. Lee made was it Lee? No, it was Mark. What was that quote that lady, that told you about her son?
Yeah, I was complimenting a lady on her son and the child that he's become, because I spent some time with him on a plane. And her comment back to me was, he's the architect of his own success. So everything they're providing you here today is a foundation, but you've got to go out and execute it to get there.
Exactly.
And it's always stuck with me. Sure
No.
has.
It's so true. It starts in here, man. I can give you the tools, go back to the beginning with the hammer, the nails and all that. I can give you all that. Lester can go over all the stuff he's gonna go over. But unless you get out there and execute it, it's not gonna help. It's not gonna do anything for you. It's just wasting time. Okay? And that's it for 2022 spring training.
All right.